Chargers fans, both family, we got some new heat in the building. And I have happiness and disappointment to express. Let's just put it that way. I held off. I talked about it on Monday. If you follow me on Twitter, that I was going to wait, to tweet certain things, and record certain things, talk about certain things till the jerseys reveal came out, in hopes that it would pan out the way I wanted it. A little bit yes, a little bit no. But let's talk about it. Let's get into exactly what the new threads are. A lot of banter back and forth on social media, Instagram and Twitter, mainly a little bit of TikTok, talking about these jerseys. So, we got some new heat in the building, man. It's definitely going to be a good season. If nothing else, we're going to look good for the most part. They say if you look good, you play good. So we're going to talk about it. So the new jerseys are out in its entirety. Every combination that the Chargers will likely don in 2025 is in the building. We got some good different and stylistic colors, and some things I'm just like, why? But let's talk about exactly what I like and what I don't like in this particular iteration, particular respect. So you got the full list up top of every combination. You got the what's home and what's away. You got a little alternate in the middle. So yeah, man, I'm gonna start off by saying I think this is very non I guess you can say breaking news, in the sense that I hate the yellow jerseys. I think that's the easy one. Again, if you follow me on any social media platform, Lockdown Diva Sports or Electrifying Podcast, you know I hate the yellows. I really do. I'm not a fan. Wore yellow in high school. Yellow was part of our colors, green and yellow, ironically. And I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. It just doesn't scream football color to me, in all honesty. Again, banana like, caution like, it's a lot of minion like, Despicable Me vibes. It just doesn't jive with me. I don't like it. I really don't. I can't wrap my mind around it. I've been very vocal about the yellow pants that I don't like, and then they doubled down on the yellow pants and added a full length yellow outfit. Yellow socks with Justin Herbert's wearing, yellow jersey, yellow pants. Wow. But I'm not gonna harp on the negative. Let's talk about the positives in this respect. So let's start off with what I like. I absolutely love the navies. I absolutely positively love the navies. It's a newer look than the old school navies from the 2000s. But I mean, this modern look, the way Tarheeb and Darren and Dayon looked in these, man, I can't wait to see these guys use these jerseys in the season. It's going to be a good one. I can't wait. It's going to be a good look. I definitely like these jerseys, and I appreciate that they're going to wear them at least twice in the season. They're definitely going to be a good time to be had. I know that the stigma around the whole idea of Navy jerseys who hadn't really won games in them in the past. But that was the old one. We got a Navy helmet on top of the Navy jersey. So that's what I really absolutely positively love. It's giving me a lot of LT, Antonio Gates, and Phillip Rivers heyday vibes. And I'm definitely loving the Navy jerseys. They're definitely a good look. I can't wait to see these in action for sure. Again, I'll show you exactly what games they're going to be donning later on, but I can't wait to see these jerseys in action. On top of what we normally have, the normal powder blue and white combinations and all white combinations, this added to it was definitely a W. Got to give the Chargers a lot of credit for bringing these jerseys back, and hopefully they stay in rotation from now on. This is just not a colorway. This is gonna be a way of life, in my opinion. I definitely love what they did here. Again, they're very fancy, a little bit more of a modern Navy feel instead of Old Navy. No pun intended. Don't sue me, Old Navy. But anyway, that's one of those things where I think they definitely score, and they definitely hope to keep these in the rotation. And I hope that the players themselves scream that we want to keep these in house. That's for sure. Next up is the new powder blue pants. I do love those as well. That is a great look. I would have actually loved them to brought this out, in midst of the yellow pants. Just get rid of the yellow pants altogether. Give me the powder blue pants, and let's go to work. And I think they look better. And I mean, I'm gonna be real. I think the powder blue pants look better with the white and blue jerseys. I really do think that looks better with the white helmet, the white jersey, the powder blue pants with the yellow bolt on them, blue socks. I really like this combination. I really think should be the primary away jersey. Excuse me. I think this should be the primary away jersey from now on. I don't think the yellow pants should be a thing anymore. In all honesty, I think this combination screams Chargers to me more so than anything else. I love this combination. I love what they did here. That's great. I can't speak highly enough about this particular combination too. So they're 2 for 2 in this spec. So and I'll say this before I talk about what I don't like again, and I will show it to you in its entirety. I would say that if you want to give me this combination, you would give me this combination, the white with the blue pants, all blue, the blue jersey, blue pants, and the navy. I get 3 different types of jersey versions that I love, so I can live with the idea that you did the yellow. I can live with it. I don't like it, but I'll live with it. So here are the yellow jerseys. Don't like it. I don't understand why they did it. Again, going back to the old 80s and 90s supercharger vibes and things of that nature. Now, granted, I don't remember. I mean, I'm clearly was a very young person at this time, but I don't remember them rocking an all yellow jersey. I do remember certain yellow aspects of it, but the all yellow, I don't remember that. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, again, I'm not a Chargers historian, although I do have a lot of Chargers knowledge in my brain. I don't remember the holistic yellow look. I don't remember that look. So this is something different, it's something new in a sense, and I don't like it. And I hope they don't, keep this in rotation a lot. Experiment. Hopefully, the fans really don't like it, the players don't really like it, and move on from it. But it's going to be here for at least one game this year. Okay, that's fine. But yet again, I don't see why they didn't learn from the Rams colorways they donned a few years ago with the colorway Thursdays, and they didn't look right. Everybody was kind of like it's very jarring and eyesore looking from a television optic perspective. So I don't know why they doubled down on doing it, but it's here. So we got to deal with it for at least one game. So it is what it is. So with that being said, here's the schedule for the alternate. So the Navy is going to be rocked twice. They're going to rock the Navy with the Vikings on I think the 23rd, and then the Raiders on November 30th. So we get 2 iterations of the Navy. I love that. 2 games with the Navy, and we have to deal with 1 game with the Yellows, and that's going to be the Colts early on in the season. So hopefully that they would definitely, like I said, October 19th. So yes, October 19th is going to be the day. We have to deal with the yellows, and hopefully, because it is the Colts, it won't affect our play too much. Maybe we'll blind them with our jersey colors and our highlighter looks, and just catch them off guard for one game and get a W. But yet again, this is what we got to deal with. This is where we at. So holistically, like I said, that's definitely what it is. From a holistic jersey perspective, that is the whole list. I'll bring this up bigger so you can see it. So, you have your full length, the navy, the yellow, the all blue, which I love, the white and blue pants, which I love, the all whites, which I love, the blue and white with the blue jersey with the white pants, I love as well. Not a fan of the white and yellow pants or the blue and yellow pants. I really wish they would do away with those altogether. I would stick to the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 combinations. I mean, I think that you can get away with 5 combinations, but they got 2 more in here, and this is total of 7, I believe. Eight combinations of jerseys. So yeah, so I would say, so I'm looking at, I like all the white, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I like 5 out of the 8. 5 out of 8. 6 out of 8. Yeah, no, 3. So 5 out of 8. I like 5 out of 8. So those 5 combinations we can keep, the 3 you can throw away, but it is what it is. So I'll live with the disappointment of the yellow jerseys for now. But there's your home jerseys, your alternates, your aways. So that's what they'll be rocking in 2025. So it looks pretty good. All right. So let's pivot back and talk about training camp. So the veterans in-house as a Wednesday. That was the last day to report. The rookies reported on Saturday. I talked about Trey Harris's holdout earlier in the week. So check that video out if you have not done so. But holistically, the talk of the town is Najee Harris and Mike Williams, who for different reasons are going to end up on the non-injury football list and the PUP list to start camp. So let's start with Najee Harris. Now, Najee Harris was injured in a fireworks accident on July 4th. Now, it wasn't a situation where he was lighting fireworks and he was quote unquote being reckless about his health and things of that nature. It was a freak accident. Fireworks shot off in the wrong direction and hit him in the face. He definitely will be tabled for now. He's been getting quote unquote specialized, personalized, independent treatment before training camp started. So he reported yesterday. So we can expect him to take a little time before he's actually on the field getting reps. I'm not sure how long it's going to be. They're kind of cryptic about that. But I would say that he's definitely going to be behind the 8 ball when it comes down to getting reps early on in the preseason in training camp, and especially because, again, I don't think we're going to see much of any of him, to be honest with you. But just the reps and practice in the continuity and the gelling you want to do with the offense and getting the offense down to a science, it's paramount. So he's going to take a step back there. A lot of people were critical about his accident. I'm gonna call it a free accident. I'm not gonna call it anything but that. It wasn't like he was out here doing crazy, reckless things and he just basically fell into the trap of being risking his availability because he was out here doing silly things. It was a free accident, much like Naeem Himes was jet skiing, trying to have an enjoyable time on the vacation, and he ended up tearing his ACL. Weird freak accident. Not gonna crucify the guy or on any facet of either one of them for having those things happen. Things happen. It's just life. But I will say this: when it comes down to Najee Harris's situation, he's on a 1-year deal, and he has a budding and electric superstar in the waiting to take his job. And I'm on record on this podcast as saying that it was a ticking time bomb in a sense. The clock was ticking in regards to what Najee Harris was going to be as far as RB1's perspective. So I think that the clock is now accelerated. I was going to say maybe week 4, week 5, or Marion touches were going to take an uptick, and by the time the end of the season hit, he was going to be the primary back. I'm going to accelerate that clock now. I mean, we may talk about week 1. In all honesty, he could honestly be the RB1 because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm okay with Najee Harris. He's durable. He's never missed a game and things of that nature. He's a capable running back. It's not many people walking around with 240 pounds that can run like him downhill. But I would argue that Najee Harris his time is ticking. It really is. I really think Omarion Hampton is electric. He is a budding superstar in the making. And I think that with him being sidelined with this injury, unfortunately, that it is, I believe that he's ultimately going to be succumb to the Omarion being a running back 1 by come start of the season. It really could happen that way. I think they're just trying to, tailor the expectation of Omarion because he's a rookie. But listen, his skill set, his size, his skill set, his strength, his contact balance, his speed, all those wrapped into one dynamic player. I'm here to tell you, Amari Hampton's going to be RB1 sooner than later. So if you're a fantasy football player, draft Amari Hampton high if you want a good running back, because I think he's going to be the number 1 guy come the start of the season, because Najee Harris is going to be behind 8 ball. They say he's going to be ready for the season, but if you sit on the sideline and not get reps in practice for the entirety of preseason and training camp, Amari Hampton's going to be running back 1 come week 1. I'm just going to be honest. That's just the way things fall in NFL. I'm sorry that the way it landed that way, but I would argue that Amari Hampton is going to take over the job and not give it back. So we'll see. And it's unfortunate for Najee because, again, he's a solid dude, but Amari Hampton is just too talented to keep under wraps. And you're going to see it early and often. With this run heavy offense as well, yeah. Plan on Amari Hampton going from maybe 1,000 yards to maybe 12 to 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's assuming health, and we pray for that. I think that's on a record as being a certainty rather than uncertainty in that space. So we'll see how things go, man. But the running back race definitely took a turn with Najee Harris being sidelined. Next up is Mike Williams. Now, Mike Williams is on the PUP list, not the non-injury football illness list. He's on a PUP list, which, again, if you put on a PUP list in the preseason, you can come off it any time. There's no 4-week or any time frame that you go on a PUP list that you have to wait to come up off it, right? But it is still concerning. He's an over 30 wide receiver that is a person that's been dealing with injuries his whole career. And he's been a Charger all but 1 year of his career, and we've seen it, dealt with it, endured it, and I'm not sure he's played a full season in his entire NFL career. Again, it's a cause for concern. It's an issue. They didn't disclose what the injury is, but they said he dealt with something, that he tweaked in the spring, and he's been shelved for OTAs, and now he's shelved for the start of training camp, which, again, starting off with learning a new offense because Greg Roman was not here when Mike Williams was here, that I would argue that he is going to be behind the 8 ball again. You got Trey Harris holding out. You got him on the PUP list. I think there's time to understand what we're dealing with in his wide receiver room, because this is what you're dealing with here. Mike is on a PUP list, like I said. Trey's holding out with his guaranteed money in his contract. Quinn Johnson is a highly unknown at this point, and Lad McConkey is the only legit proven guy that's on the roster that you can really, really ultimately count on. So I would argue that it's time to make a move and it's time to go ahead and bring in Keenan Allen. I really do think that's time. Again, I don't know exactly what the particulars are in regards with Keenan Allen and why he's not signed to any team yet, what he's waiting on. I mean, training camp is right around the corner. We just saw Von Miller get signed yesterday to the Commanders. So I think even the wily veterans, over 30 veterans that still got a lot to give from an NFL perspective, are starting to flow in and start to get ready to show up for training camp and be ready to participate on the team they're going to be a part of, right? So with that being said, I'm not sure exactly what Keenan's waiting on. I am curious. I'm kind of wondering because he didn't jump at the opportunity to get team back up with Mike and Justin and come back home to be a Charger. I think it might be a little bit of issue with the current regime. I'm not sure if Keenan was appreciative of the fact that they asked him to take a pay cut. He said no. There was maybe some arguments, some disagreements, some words exchanged in the uh I guess you say preseason of 2024, and he was ultimately traded to the Chicago Bears for a year. So I think that's the only thing really just hindering this from happening. I think that's the only problem that we may be facing in that particular sense. But I think it's time to bring him back, in all honesty, because we're not sure we're going to get out of Mike. We haven't gotten a full season out of him at the time he's been a Charger. Can't rely on him. Can't count on him. We got to wait on Trey Harris, and the longer he's out fighting this contract battle, the less reps he gets in practice. Again, he's even with Keenan being a wily veteran and having good chemistry with Justin Herbert, he needs to be in the house and working on Greg Roman's offense and getting in to the idea of working, the new playbook and learning the routes and things of that nature and how things flow. So I would make that call right now and bring him in sooner than later. But you get to the idea of maybe by next week the Hall of Fame game and things of that nature, before you get to that space, I say you should bring him in and sign him and let him be with the team for the entire year. At least give him a 1-year deal, maybe 2. In all honesty. And if you look at it from a money perspective, Mike Williams' contract is not punitive at all. It's not punitive at all. So you had to choose between the two because Mike is awfully injured. I would choose Keenan over Mike at this point. I really would. Keenan brings way more to the table from a wide receiver skill set perspective. Being a route technician, being a three position wide receiver, you can line him up anywhere. I would argue that he's way more reliable and catches the ball, and he can do pretty much anything, and not many people in this league can cover him. So I would say that I would bring in Keenan Allen and just go ahead and bite the bullet. Even if you got to mend fences and apologize or whatever you got to do. I think this team needs more juice in the wide receiver room, in all honesty. And Keenan will definitely be able to teach the likes of, Trey Harris and Keandre Lambert Smith. And, maybe he can bring Quentin Johnson out of his funk, whatever whatever happened in that situation, and bring him out of his shell and just uplift the room in its entirety. And I think that if you line them up with Keenan, Quentin, Ladd, Keandre, the tight ends, Arande, Tyler, and Will Dissly, I guess. I like that receiver room better than it is constructed currently today. So I'm not sure what the Chargers are going to do, but I think they need to add some type of juice to the wide receiver room to help Justin Herbert's passing offense in 2025. Because again, everybody and their mama knows at this point that this offense is run heavy. So they're going to come and stop the run. You got to have a passing attack to be able to combat that idea and get the ball moving downfield and not keep your drives stymied because you can't run the ball because they're loading the box. You can't throw the ball either because you don't have any receivers. So that's where it lands for me. But hopefully they do something of this genre and get things changed and get things upgraded in the wide receiver room, and we can get things going in 2025. But let me know in the comments how you feel about everything. What you feel about these receivers? What you feel about Najee Harris and all those things? Of course, leave your comments in the video, and subscribe to the channel as always. Let me know how you feel about the podcast, and we'll be back next week with another video as always. Training camp is in the mix, so we'll be breaking all that down and getting things going in a good fashion. So, in the meantime, between time, I'm your boy Coach D. And you always got to remember to bolt up.